This week in the Self-Love Incubator Inner Circle, we are all about emotions, all about like emotional strength, emotional resilience, and very, very much about emotional freedom. So just let me know what it means to you, like emotional freedom, and whether this sounds like something that would be nice to have. So just drop, a yes in the comments if emotional freedom sounds appealing to you. Because it is really essential for us to have, to be okay with our emotions, yes, and to have like a good relationship with them. Morning, Kay, good to see you here. And because our emotions have huge power, and I've experienced it plenty of times in my own life, and I can see it with my clients as well right now, that emotions can really make or break you, and they can make or break your life, your decisions, your relationships, like big time, your self-confidence. So this is so important for us to have tools and skills, how to be okay with them. And sometimes if they get really intense, hi Hansa, good to see you here. Less pain, yes, of course, like with emotional freedom, yes, much less pain. When we have all of these intense emotions in us, we might feel like we are being, dragged behind the bus by them. And I actually, I don't know if you've noticed, let me know if you've noticed, I made a like spelling mistake in the subject of the email that I sent a few days ago about this live. And instead of writing dragged with like DRAGGED, I wrote like a DRUGGED, which which is always like a bit embarrassing. So I'm so sorry about that. But it was actually a very interesting mistake, because it's our intense emotions are really like drugs in many ways. So they have this ability to make us feel like, to make us like zone out totally and become apathetic and lifeless. They have the power to make us all over the place and agitated and restless, or they can push us to do things or say things that we regret just a moment later, right? And I'm sure you have your own examples, yes, how this happened for you many times, that you did or said something and then you regretted it because it was just emotions that pushed you to doing so. So it's a very important thing to remember that we can be like on emotional high, like really intoxicated, and then when we are, it changes, it kind of distorts the way we see reality. It distorts the way we see ourselves. It distorts the way we see other people and life in general. And so kind of important to remember when this happens, yes, it's not a good time to make decisions, and sometimes it can be huge decisions. And I've worked with a lady who just got so angry with her husband that she packed all her suitcases and actually like left the house. And that was a purely emotional decision, and it took a lot of time and effort to resolve this situation, because that wasn't her real intention. And it can be something big like that, but it can be something small. It can be like eating a full bag of sweets without even paying attention to what you're doing, just to elevate the emotion that you're feeling in the moment. So I'm sure you have your own examples. Yes, Hansa says that she can resonate with that. Yeah, I think we can all like resonate with that, because that's what normally happens. Oh, hi Sunita, good to see you here. So the emotions are always there. So as you go through your days, as you go through your life, the emotions are here all of the time. Sometimes they are in the like front stage, sometimes it's backstage. Quite often, if they get to the front, we try to push them back to the backstage again. But they're here all of the time. And it's so good to really take it in and realize it fully. That if you say that you're having a good or a bad day, it's actual emotions you're talking about. And if you're saying about your high or low self-confidence, it's actually your emotions you're talking about mostly. Because of course that might be hi Teresa, of course there might be thoughts and beliefs that hold you back, but it would be so easy to change them if they weren't like locked in by our emotions. So, for example, if in certain situations you find it difficult to speak up, and then you might know that this is just a belief that is coming from the past that you learned in your childhood, that you don't have anything interesting to say, what you say might sound stupid, and this is like a bunch of beliefs that is coming from the past, has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Like, all this, you are aware of all this, and still you can't speak up because there is still fear, yes, and there is still this expectation of embarrassment, what might happen if I say something and people won't resonate with that. So you might be very aware of the beliefs, of thoughts, of patterns that hold you or stop you or limit you. But if you not worked through the emotions, that doesn't help much, right? So, and of course, relationships. Yes, relationships are a true minefield if you're not able to understand, process, and be okay with your own emotions. So, let me know, please, in the comments, like which emotion is most challenging for you, which cluster of emotions, because they very seldom come up as a single emotions. Yes, it's usually some kind of a mixture of two or three of them. Yes, and they tend to come together. So yeah, so I'm really curious. Let me know what's most challenging, and also if you have like your own favorite ways of avoiding these emotions, because that's what we all do. Yes, if we don't like something, if we find it challenging, we go to great lengths to try how to steer clear of them. So, and this as a result, this is very limiting for our life. Yeah, Hansa says feeling left out. Yes. So, do you do anything specific, Hansa, not to get into situations where you could be left out, where you could feel like left out? Because we tend to avoid, we can't like withdraw with certain social situations. We can't withdraw with certain friendships or relationships just because they make us feel a certain way. Just because they trigger a certain emotion, we would avoid certain places, even like jobs. Yes, just because we expect or we know that they trigger the emotion that is difficult for us to cope with. But that takes us nowhere. Yes, because like if you, for example, have like a certain fear, yes, let's say fear of people getting angry, then you can avoid a certain friendship because your friend tends to get these angry outbursts. You can steer clear of relationships with people who are angry. But kind of it can happen everywhere. Yes, people at your workplace can get angry. Or you can be like walking in the street and see somebody like getting angry. And you kind of limit yourself more and more so that you can steer clear of this emotion. But that just limits your possibilities, right? So that's That's not the way to go about it, right? So I think let me know how this resonates first of all, and whether you have this experience of being surrounded by difficult emotions, either in yourself or from the people who are around you, and how kind of difficult it can be, and limiting, and causing so much suffering and pain. Teresa says anger, yes, and that's a very common emotion that is challenging for us. I was taught it was bad emotion growing up, so I feel guilt when I feel it. And it's such an essential emotion to have. It gives us so much power. Susan, welcome, Susan. Good to see you here. Wet and windy. Yes, it's kind of wet in Dublin as well today. Being stuck in toxic family relationships, fear of being alone. Yes, yeah, that's a big one, the fear of being alone. I try to tell myself it's okay, but usually I cry when I feel anger. Yes. And crying is okay. Crying is always okay, because crying helps our body to release the tension. So that can be very, very helpful. Sadness, yes, sadness is a big one. And abandonment. Yeah, this is one of our biggest fears. Yes, abandonment. And like Hansa is saying, stuck in toxic relationships and fear of being alone. Yes, and then these two fears, when you have both like of them in yourself, yes, can really make it difficult for you to navigate relationships. Yes, because you don't want to be alone, so you can kind of compromise too much so that you can be with someone else. But then also this fear of being stuck in a toxic relationship can kind of make you hold back and not committing yourself fully. So that's, yeah, that can keep you like stuck in a way, unless you learn how to process, yes, and be okay with these emotions. Hi, Pauline. Good to see you here. Interesting and helpful. Thank you. Avoidance of emotions has really held me back often. Yes, and it's the same for all of us. So great. Thanks so much for sharing. So what's the way out of that? Yes, because that's the main reason why we are here, to learn and to grow how to do things differently, and how to be in ourselves in a bit different way. So there is a very clear, a very effective, and a very easy, or maybe not easy, but simple pathway to freedom and to inner peace. And this pathway is starts with being present, being really present here and now for whatever is going on in you and around you. And this, for many of us, initially, this seems like quite contrary to what we normally do, and because of that, quite like counterintuitive. So, you don't want to be present, you want to run away and hide and avoid. But as we said a moment ago, it kind of takes you nowhere. So, what we are doing in the inner circle this month, especially, but really always, because that's, I think, the core of the work that I do, that I'm sharing with you, is we are learning how to take a pause, how to stop, and how to be present for whatever is going on for you. And there are like many tools, many techniques, many strategies that can help you with that. But in truth, it is as simple as that. It's just about stopping in the moment, becoming aware what's going on, and learning how you can hold the space for whatever is happening inside you. And this is a direct pathway to easier, lighter, more peaceful, fuller living. So, and I was watching yesterday a training, a replay from the training, which I missed last week by Bibi Hansen, and she put it like in a beautiful way. She said, "Presence leads to awareness, and awareness leads to choice." And choice really is all that we want, yes, that we need if we want to be free. It's a choice, from our automatic reactions, from our limiting beliefs, from our patterns that we keep repeating like on a loop, and very much freedom from this feeling that we are being dragged behind a bus, or that we are, drugged, or we are on drugs when the emotions happen. And very much freedom from being, in this emotional loops, because this is also what happens quite often. Very often it happens, with when we get stuck in the past, like something happened and we find very difficult to make peace with it, and we can hold on to resentment, to grudges, to resentment, to regrets for what, days, weeks, months, years on end. So yeah, just let me know in the comments whether this has ever happened to you, that you got kind of stuck or hooked on an emotion and it stayed with you for a long, long, long period of time, and that you like have been carrying or were carrying in the past, like a deep sadness about something, or a deep resentment about something, a deep anger about something. And it kind of always poisons us, yes, it eats at us from the inside. So presence is also a beautiful and very empowering way to break free from these loops as well. And presence is, as we said, very, very simple. So it's all about stopping in the moment and noticing what's really going on with you, what's really going on in your heart, what are the feelings that you're feeling, what's really going on in your body, what are the sensations that you're experiencing. Hansa says, after being present and then awareness, I got scared with making the choice which presents itself. Okay, so that is just another emotion, yes, that is coming up. If you're getting scared with making the choice, it means that there's more emotions to be present with and to process before you can make the choice. So it's just kind of you being present and aware, and then you becoming aware of the emotions that are there, and now we need to embrace and release, and I'll come back to this in a moment. And this is what we will be working with anyway in the inner circle, on our live circle next week, and on the breathing circle as well. So when there is an emotion that stops you from making the choice that you want to make, then we need to process and be with this emotion unless it releases and opens the way. Teresa, yes, I can resonate so much to holding on. Yes, during the week, so powerful. Letting go. Yes, exactly. That's and that's sometimes that can sometimes happen like in an instant. Once you start being present and once you learn like a few tools how to release, it's very simple. And sometimes it takes a bit of repetition, and sometimes, like we talked with Teresa, yes, it's just a moment and you just kind of let go. But in order for this to happen, you kind of need to notice what's going on in your whole system, because most of us at least at sometimes in our lives, we tend to live like this. So there is this, little head in the world trying to figure out how to be happy. And like you live in here, all behind the level of the neck, like it doesn't exist at all. And you're trying to solve all the problems, you're trying to figure out the way forward, you're trying to make all your choices kind of from here. Like this doesn't work. This is even like an impossible task for your head. Your head is not designed to do this. And like, hello, you have like the whole body here. And it's such a huge resource. You have your heart center, you have your gut center, you have like actually, like networks, neuronal networks, like little brains in your heart center and in your gut center. So this living from here is usually a recipe like for disaster. And it makes you live in this reactive state. Yes, so there is so much stress around, and kind of unless you stop, and it makes you live like in the past as well, because that's what your brain does. It keeps like observing the situation around you and comparing it to what happened in the past. So you kind of use the same reactions, the same responses that maybe they worked in the past, but most of them are kind of out of date. So you when you live like this, you kind of disconnect yourself from a huge resource. Now you have all you need already in you, in your heart and in your body. This sense of being deeply grounded, of being supported, of being loved, of being resilient, of having wisdom, peace. It all comes from your physical body, from your heart center, from your gut center. If you want to dive deeper, you have also energetic body around you, yes, and it's science now. So there is all of like plenty of good things, deeply grounding and supporting things happening below the level of your neck. And again, like I want to share with you like the image that the girl on the training like was sharing yesterday, because I think it's sometimes imagining something helps us understand things so much easier. So you can and really try to imagine this as I'm talking about it. So for most of us, we kind of live as if we were like in a shower. So imagine yourself in a shower, like you're all naked, and there's this beautiful warm water running down onto your body. It's all nice and sweet, and then imagine that this water like stops running, and you kind of like you can feel it like in your body. Yes, there's this like cringe, and your body gets like all tense, and it's cold and it's unpleasant. And then you try to do whatever you can, like to manipulate the taps, yes, and get the water running again. And maybe it starts for a while, but like this is kind of a faulty shower. So the water, sometimes it's too hot, and sometimes it's too cold, and sometimes it stops running altogether. And that's how most of us imagine that our life is like. Not a very pleasant way to live. But it's all when you are not fully present, when you become present and aware of what's really going on, you can see that actually what is happening is that you are sitting in a hot spring. So you are sitting in this beautiful blue, bubbly, warm, just the right temperature water all of the time. It is here all of the time. Uh, there is nothing you need to do to get it running, yes, to get it warmer, to get it colder, to manipulate or regulate it. Like the awareness, the presence with all the support that it gives you is here all of the time. So just imagine what would it feel like to live having this awareness that all of the time you are surrounded, you are supported by this support, peace, wisdom, uh, resilience, all of the resources that you truly need. A great visual with the little hat. Yes, head versus heart and gut. Yeah, let's not forget about gut. Like our nervous system is really like distributed throughout our body. So it's not only heart; it's also the gut. So that's how presence can feel. Like sitting in this beautiful, warm, hot spring, um, deeply supported and rooted there, no matter what's going on around you. So, how does that feel? Would you prefer like to be in the shower or in the hot spring? Just let me know. Just let me know whether this like image, these two images make sense to you, and how they resonate. And I want to say just a word about what stands in the way for us to become fully present. And I'm sure like you know this, because this is something we that so often makes us stuck in life, and this is discomfort. Yes, quite often you need to go through a bit of discomfort to actually realize that everything is okay and that you have all the resources that you need. And we don't like being uncomfortable, right? Uh, we we can go to great lengths to avoid any kind of discomfort, and that's why, because you don't speak up, because it can be uncomfortable to do something new and different. That's because you like eat a whole bag of sweets, because it can alleviate the discomfort that you're feeling in the moment. So, and by the way, in April, in the inner circle, we have a beautiful call with Wendy Byrne, who is a great expert on emotional eating. So this will be brilliant, because I think like all of us can resonate with that to some extent. Um, like we use food so often to regulate our emotions, and sometimes in very unhealthy ways. So yeah, so that's what coming in April. So so we are doing our best to avoid this discomfort, but your body has the capacity to process difficult sensations and emotions. And really like take a moment to let this like sink in. Your body, your nervous system has the capacity to process difficult emotions and sensations, even the most uncomfortable ones, even the most intense ones. Your body has actually a bit of a problem, or even a big problem, with processing things that are stuck, chronic stress, chronic emotions that are being repeated on a loop. But in the moment, Your body has great capacity to process whatever emotion might be happening in the system. Uh, and when I work, even like last week, I one of my one-on-one clients, yes, on a session, she is working with really deep sadness at the moment, and she said like it's so easy for me like to be present with the sadness when I'm with you during the session, but it's kind of very, very difficult for me to do it when I'm on my own. And this is yes, and this is what happens, yes, and it's a great process to realize and be aware of, because this is because I've done my work. So I know now how to be okay, how to be grounded with whatever emotions are coming up for her. And whatever emotion is like anybody really during the session coming up with, I am well able to welcome it with compassion, with kindness. But first of all, uh, I stay safe. I feel deeply safe through all of these emotions that my clients might experience. And that's a huge thing, because they can see, and even more they can feel that no matter what emotions are coming up for them, I stay safe, and I can hold this safe space for them. So it kind of changes the way they feel about their emotions. Yes, they kind of start to realize that it's actually okay, that it's actually safe to stay with whatever is coming up. And after a while, they are well able to hold this space for themselves. And that's the baseline. So just imagine what would it be like for you uh, to feel okay and safe, as if in this hot spring, while intense emotions are happening, because they are part of life. They will always be happening. Yes, there'll always be like sadness and anger and fear. Like life happens. What changes everything that you can stay is that you can stay present and safe and connected to your deep inner resources while the emotion is happening. So let me know how this resonates with you, and whether this is something that you would like to learn for yourself, how to stay in this grounded, safe, resourceful space while life happens. And this is like what we will be doing in the inner circle for the rest of the month. So we will practice, being present, and then embracing and releasing, embracing and releasing, embracing and releasing again, because this is what allows our emotions to flow through us freely. And then just to share one more, like, fun fact. It's not a fun fact, it's a science fact from neuroscience. Yes, we know now that it takes our body around 90 seconds to run the wave of emotion. Like on the biological level, it takes your body around 90 seconds to trigger all the chemical reactions, yes, all the neurotransmitters and hormones that are secreted to produce all the sensations, and then to flush all of these chemicals out of your body. It takes 90 seconds. There's a beautiful book by Joan Rosenberg, 90 Seconds to the Life You Love. You might check it. It's a really interesting one. And it is all about the fact that the emotion from the purely physiological level is supposed to last around, a minute and a half. And that's not what our experience is, right? we usually experience emotions for much, much, much longer periods of time. And that's because we keep recreating them. We keep recreating like these waves by thinking about it, yes, by reliving what already happened. But once you learn how to embrace, be present, and release, then the emotions can again flow like very, very freely in and out of your system. And each of them also brings you some gifts, yes? So each emotion has a message for you, and it points to a certain action that it needs to be done. So if you stop and pay attention, you can actually learn a lot from your emotions. Yes, that's science. Like, the neuroscience is fascinating, and like we learned so much about how our nervous system functions over the last few decades. Yes, there's been such a huge progress, so we understand this like more and more. Okay, so as I said, we'll be all about emotions in the inner circle. And also, we have the breathing circle coming the last Tuesday of February. As always, the last Tuesday of each month at 8 p.m. Dublin time. And this time, this is what we will breathe into. We will breathe into, our deep inner peace and our emotional freedom and our emotional resilience. And we will do plenty of releasing, embracing and releasing. So if you are not with us in the inner circle, then there is a link above this video. Maybe you want to join us for the breathing circle. It's just on the pay from the heart basis, so everyone can afford it, and it'll be such a beautiful call, again full of breathing and practicing how to be present, and a bit of journaling and some sharing, of course, and just us being together and doing this amazing work so that we can live a better and fuller, more joyous life. So, for those who are in the inner circle, I will see you this Thursday on our live circle. And for the rest of you, I really hope to see you on the breathing circle on the 22nd. Hansa says, I've been trying not to relive experiences, and remembering pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Yes, that's such a beautiful thing to remember. Yeah, and that's again coming back to being present. Yes, the moment you are here and now, you can't be reliving anything from the past. So it also gives you a lot of freedom from whatever you're carrying in you from the past. And whenever you go for these like anxious trips into the future. Thank you, Hansa. So good to have you with us. And thank you, everyone. Much appreciate you being here. Have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.